Hi, I'm Myrna Quesada, and welcome to my multicultural library. And in my research and reading all these books, I realize a lot of us Latinos are pretty much the same. There are a few main cultural values that seem to be um, reflected all the way across the board. No matter if you are Mexican or Cuban or Puerto Rican or Colombian, there seems to be, especially with the Mexican community, the importance of family, the family structure, the importance of who you are without your family. And the family being an identifier for the Latino here in the United States, and also the idea of the teachings of respect for your elders, respect for authority figures, but respect also in the form of manners and politeness and how you treat people. And that is seen throughout, as well as not only the family and respect, the importance of education and how education makes you successful. Having a good education is gonna help you get a good job and be able to support your family. And also, one of the big ones was religion and faith-based values. And those three or four values are one of the main ones that I've seen in my research, as well as in the books I've read. The idea of the books tend to reflect the experiences that these writers have, their life living on the border cities of Texas, and having to English and Spanish. Also, the experiences of those immigrants crossing the border and their stories, and how their story of coming across into the United States and the new world that they discover. And also what you grow up with. We have a few stories that base their books on what they saw growing up. You have authors who write their books because of their love for luchadores, Mexican wrestlers, and that concept that's brought into life in a story. And you have, and then you have faith-based, and you have a lot of common themes that are brought into these books, which is amazing to see. This is my first time diving into books written by Latino authors. So I was super excited to see how many, that I can see my own, values reflected upon in their writings. So it's very interesting and enlightening and kind of emotional at the same time, because you realize that these beliefs that you grow up with, they're not your own. There's many Latinos who grow up with the same values as you, and it's very encouraging for our future generations. that these values are passed on, just because I think they stabilize you as a person. Being from the Latino community myself and incorporating these values into my own child rearing manners for my kids, it keeps the life of your family and your heritage alive, and hopefully it'll continue. And many of our students will learn that through literature and through these books, even though they might be pictures or just a few words, but the story is there. And hopefully they will, through reading these books, they will absorb these cultural. So here is one of the books I would love to add to my classroom library. It's called Charro Claus and the Texas Kid. So it's a play on Santa Claus with a Mexican twist, as the charro would be the Mexican cowboy of the ranch. So this is a very cute story and a lovely book, both in English and in Spanish. Xavier Garza is the author and illustrator, depicting a story based on his love of lucha libre, which is Mexican wrestlers. So in this story, this young boy, his uncle, to his surprise, is cousins with Santa Claus, and Santa Claus needs help delivering toys at Christmas on the border of Mexico and Texas. And so Santa tells him to get his stuff, his old costume together from when he was a charro, and he asks him to help him deliver toys. And of course, Uncle doesn't fit. He's older now. He's gotten a little rounder around the belly. His guitar isn't working anymore. And Santa uses his magic. And of course, with Santa's magical dust, gives Uncle a beautiful new outfit full of gold, with a guitar and a beautiful wagon. Is turned into a sleigh run by burros. And Xavier Garcia does an amazing job with the colors, so bright, especially for young children who are attracted to the bright colors, and just brings in the eye for these stories. And of course, in the end, he is successful at helping Santa deliver toys all across the border. So this is a lovely story, a play on Santa Claus, and a mixture of both American and Mexican cultures. And then we have ¿Qué cosas dice mi abuela? Things my grandma says. So this book I like because it goes back to the idea of respect and manners and politeness and things that grandmas say to help, little quirky little sayings that grandma tells us, and shows us how to behave and be polite. So one of my favorite sayings that I've had heard from my grandparents as well is bien vestido, bien recibido. So someone who is well dressed will be received very well. As so another color for story. This one is in Spanish, so this will help children understand some manners. And of course, you got, I love the facial expressions on some of these children. And this one's by Pablo Pino, illustrator, and Ana Galan. This is Alma and How She Got Her Name. This one's by Juana Martinez Neal. So this is a wonderful book of identity. And for most Latinos, they just don't have one name. Usually have 2 or 3 because they're named after grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles. So Alma, Sofia, Esperanza, Jose, Pura Candela. So Alma wonders, why is her name so long? She gets teased. And then Dad comes to tell her the story of the meaning of each of her names, and why those were chosen for her. And after each story her dad tells her, she says, I am that. I am Esperanza. I am Jose. So another beautiful story about identity. And the author is of, I believe she said she is of, she's from Peru. So this is a story of, coming to, when she came to the U.S. and feeling left out and odd because she has 4 or 5 names. But then once she's here in the U.S., she realizes, that it's unique. And it reminds her of who she is and why she was given those, who she was named after, and where she comes from. She's reminded by her name every day.